sponsorship by. It's ironic that we have a funeral home sponsoring this because one of our monikers at the Oddfellows is to bury the dead and to educate the orphans. So that was kind of ironic. My name is Jeff Teat. I am the Deputy Grand Master for the Grand Lodge of Maryland, Independent Order of Oddfellows. I've been an Oddfellow since 2004. Our goal in life is to improve the character of mankind. So with that, I will go over a few things, and at the end, if you have any questions, feel free. Next slide for me there, Miss Melissa. Oh, there it is. Okay. The lodge in your local area is Poolsville Lodge number 97. They meet at the local Poolsville Memorial United Methodist Church on the second and fourth Thursday. If you're interested in membership, you can see the email there, and it's also later on. That's Richard Norwood's email, and then there's also Steve Horvath's number at the bottom. Next slide, please. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We had a storm come through. The Independent Order of Oddfellows does not discriminate on any individual on the basis of any disability, age, other than the fact that you might be too young to join the order. You have to be 16. Your ethnicity, gender, race, sexual orientation, religion, or other social identity. We will make reasonable modifications in our policies, practices, and procedures when such modifications are necessary to afford its services and facilities to individuals with disabilities, unless the modifications would fundamentally alter the nature of our services. We have a very diverse group at the Oddfellows. We have Jews and Gentiles and very religious people and semi-religious people. One of the members at our lodge actually is an amputee, so disability is not that big of a deal. We're a fun-loving, welcoming group of people, and I'm not going to read that whole non-discrimination policy, but that is a fact that we don't do that. Next slide, please. Oddfellows was born in Baltimore, Maryland on April 26, 1819 at the Seven Stars Tavern in Baltimore. And it was started by a man named Thomas Wilde. And on April, at the birthplace in the United States, Thomas Wilde put an ad in the paper and a few men responded. He was a blacksmith and was very outgoing. And he had a British accent, as you can imagine, in the war, after the War of 1812, just a few years before, people with British accents were not looked upon favorably. And he was an odd fellow over in England, and he put an ad in the paper to try to find some people like-minded, got 5 people together, and they opened up the first lodge. That date was April 2nd, 1819, and they instituted their charter on April 26th of 1819, and we've been around for over 200 years. They started Washington Lodge number 1, which is still in existence. I'm an associate member there at Washington Lodge number 1. Admittance was granted by decree of the Independent Order of Oddfellowship in England. The American Oddfellows founder, Thomas Wilde, died at age 80 in 1861. There were 42 jurisdictions and over 200,000 members at that time. His gravesite and memorial resides at Greenmount Cemetery, and a monument there was dedicated 4 years later in his name. At one time, we've had such famous members as General Ulysses S. Grant and Schuyler Colfax, who was a Vice President of the United States, and also Wyatt Earp was an Oddfellow. U.S. peak membership was reached in the 1950s, and the IOF continues as a worldwide fraternity for men and women dedicated to making the world a better place through fraternal friendship, charitable love, and the pursuit of truth in all their dealings. Next, please. That's Thomas Wilde in the middle there, in his memorial, and on every year on his anniversary of his birth, we go there and have a little ceremony at his tombstone in Greenmount Cemetery. We are a diverse group of people who want to make a difference in our communities and the world by turning the lessons taught in the initiation and degrees into direct action. The degrees of initiation in our fraternity seek to improve and elevate the character of our members by imparting moral principles exemplified through story, drama, and symbols, which we've adapted from medieval trade guilds. Our lessons aim to promote the lesson of tolerance, which results in harmony and understanding between people from different walks of life. We endeavor to bridge the gap of differences and to serve as a venue where acquaintances and even enemies can become true friends using the purest and practical form of fraternity. We are simply about promoting the culture of caring and sharing and not leaving each other behind and thinking beyond yourself and to help others in need. The command of the IOOF is to visit the sick, relieve the distressed, bury the dead, and educate the orphan. If you think about the Oddfellows in today's terminology, we were the original Facebook, and we met in lodges, like you much meet on Facebook now, to provide a place to foster new friendships with people you can depend on. The structure provides a way to learn valuable skills that can carry over into all aspects of life, and the flexibility makes each lodge have its own unique culture. Members also enjoy an international social network that many thousands have through over 30 countries worldwide today. One of the primary purposes of the IOOF is to develop lifelong friendships among people. In connection to this, many lodges also organize social activities where members can enjoy each other's company. An ideal lodge is a place for fellowship in all its forms, from meetings, initiation ceremonies, dinners, hanging out, or just having fun, to discussion and collaboration on creative and constructive projects, all with an eye not only for our own satisfaction, but for what we might offer to the community at large. We aim to be a good venue for a lot of positive energy, and all members are encouraged to contribute their ideas in harmony. We don't always agree with one another, but at the end of the day, we always shake hands and hug and leave as friends, even though we don't agree. Next, please. That there that you see is a picture of our heritage room to the right. That is where a lot of artifacts, including a very nice oil painting of Thomas Wilde. And there's a chair that he used to sit in when he presided at Washington Lodge number 1, and also a banner from Washington Lodge there on the left. It's cared for by the Oddfellows and the Rebeccas. The Rebeccas used to be the woman's side of the fraternal organization. Ironically, men could join the Rebeccas, but Rebeccas could not join the Oddfellows. But that changed, I believe, in 2000. So now women can become Oddfellows and Oddfellows can become Rebeccas. And I am actually the president of the Rebecca Assembly this year. I'm proud to be so. Thank you. Next slide. That is a picture of our Grand Master this year, Beverly Labuda. And there's a video on here. If you want to click that, she has a message for you. I'm not sure of the audio quality of that, but we'll see what we have. Please go ahead.
Melissa, you might not be able to play the video, it looks like, from the notification at the top, so we might just have to move past it.
Yeah, that's fine. A lot of what she is saying, I'll say it. So in order to not be redundant, we can just we can move on to the next slide. Am I lagging that far behind? Is it up there?
Yes, we'll just give it a second.
Okay.
Let us know when you're able to see it, okay?
Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you. Odd Fellowship is comprised of men and women 16 and older, believing in a supreme being, the creator and preserver of the universe, who come together in local communities sharing the belief that friendship, love, and truth are the basic guidelines that we need to follow in our daily lives. Through working in our local communities, state, or nationally, we strive to make a difference in the lives of people in the world. Our deep history began in Baltimore, Maryland 200 years ago and is continually expanding throughout the world. We are a worldwide fraternity in 26 countries, actually 30 now, and the Oddfellows and Rebeccas strive to make the world a better place in which to live, seeking to improve and elevate the character of mankind as we work together to build a better world. Do you believe that friendship, love, and truth should be the basic guides to live by? Do you believe in a supreme being and being the creator and preserver of the universe? And do you want to make a difference? If you answered yes, then we need you. And there's another email there. It's GS of MD. I don't see it up on the screen. I have thing, but it's gsofmd@hotmail.com. And there it is at the bottom. Feel free to take a picture. We can give you that again later. Thank you. Next slide, please. That picture there is a picture of our OddFellows Home. And when lodges were first set up to protect and care for the members in the communities at a time when there was no welfare state, trade unions, or national health insurance, the aim was still to provide a help to people in communities in times of need. And Maryland Oddfellows built a home for orphans and the elder members in Frederick in 1925. The site is currently being leased to a private school. The Oddfellows Home was on over 80 acres and housed its own farm and had animals that they tended to and the crops, and they would use those crops and animals to help feed the members. The Oddfellows Home consisted of 3 buildings arranged in a U shape. The Maryland Oddfellow Home was the one and only of its type built in Maryland. Other Oddfellows jurisdictions have built over 59 of them across the country. The Maryland Oddfellows Homes provided for hundreds of aged members, their widows, and orphans. Oddfellows Homes provided much-needed social welfare services. The Oddfellows Home aimed to provide children a good schooling and religious training in a loving and home-like as possible atmosphere, and allowed aged members and their widows to live happy in a place where they were respected in the twilights of their lives. Grandmaster Dorsey Etchison of the Maryland Oddfellows, a Frederick resident, led the project, and they raised close to $500,000. That was $500,000 in 1923 to build this great retreat. Baltimore architect Joseph Sperry, as a side note, Mr. Sperry also designed the Bromo Seltzer Tower in downtown Baltimore, along with many other famous landmarks. He designed it, and the cornerstones were laid on August 26, 1923. The Cornerstone Lane had an estimated 15,000 Oddfellow members from Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania in attendance. 15,000 people just to watch a cornerstone being set. Pretty awesome. This was noted as the largest gathering of Oddfellows in the state. During the construction in 1924, Oddfellows from all over Maryland and adjoining states came to Frederick to tour the property, sometimes hundreds at a time. The building on the right was referred to as the Aged Cottage and had a spacious living room, sewing room, dining room, smoking room, and large porch. There were 36 single rooms and 12 double rooms. The Children's Cottage, on the left, divided into 2 sides, one for boys, one for girls, with a shared kitchen in the center, a separate dining room for each side, and each side had its own living room, study room, playroom, washroom, and toilets. Each side had rooms to set up for 3 children each, 10 rooms, and a caregiver room. The accommodations were for 62 children. The center building with the white pillars is the administration building, included the offices, a physician's examining room, a dentist room, and infirmary, and living quarters for the superintendent, library, gym, and kindergarten room. The superintendent, the caretaker, used to live upstairs. Newspaper coverage reported that special trains, buses, and automobiles brought 20,000 to 30,000 visitors to the city of Frederick on that day. Ceremonies began in the morning with the raising of the American flag at the pole in the center of the grounds, and despite a fierce electrical storm, the celebration continued with 2,000 to 3,000 people parading up Market Street from Patrick Street in brightly colored garb. By the 1970s, the home had served more than 600 Oddfellows, Rebeccas, widows, and orphans, and included a farm and dairy that were operated at a profit. In the album of Oddfellows Homes, the Maryland home was considered a great exemplification of the mission of Oddfellowship. Sadly, in 2003, with only 13 residents left, several buildings were rented to a private school. The Oddfellows sadly decided that the home would need to be closed. In August of 2004, due to competition with new nursing homes, assisted living facilities, rising costs, and declining membership, the home was closed. In 2010, the Oddfellows property was subdivided with an approximately 7-acre parcel allocated for the home buildings and portioned off the rest of the property. The buildings are currently being used by the Banner School, a private school in Frederick. For the state of Maryland, we have a very large number of fundraisers for local, national, and international charities. Today, here are some of the highlights of our fraternal organization's philanthropic work, and they include the Educational Foundation, which provides low-interest student loans and scholarships. The Arthritis Advisory Board, we donate over $500,000 annually to support the research for the Arthritis Foundation of U.S. and Canada. Visual Research, we've endowed $2.5 million to the Wilmer Eye Institute and continue to donate over $500,000 annually to support eye care and research. We also have a chair on the board of officers at the Wilmer Eye Institute. And on the right, you see a picture of Grandmaster Gene Leisure from 2020 to 2021, presenting a check to Dr. Henry Jampel of the Wilmer Eye Institute. The Grandmaster picked this as his project as well to help raise money for. Next, please. Oh, that's a different picture than I have, but that's okay. The Pilgrimage for Youth. This is a program that sponsors a group of high school students on an educational trip in the U.S. and Canada. They come from all over the world to do this, Switzerland, Iceland, all through Europe, and even Asia and South America. And during their visit to the Washington area, a local lodge, Lodge number 41, hosts a dinner for them and provides some entertainment. I'm proud to say I am the entertainment, and there are some balloon hats I made for a father and son who came on the trip. The father came as a chaperone. So, the Oddfellows in Rebecca Homes, we talked about that a little bit. And there on the left, we do our deeds every day, not just on lodge meeting. I was going into a store one day, and there was a elderly lady that was going to walk in the rain all the way down to our cutout to get into the stores, and I helped her up there. It's just, just something to do. It's easy to help provide comfort to those in need. Poolsville Lodge number 97 is also a strong supporter when it comes to caring for the elderly and participate in the senior community by providing outings for them. Next, please. The Living Legacy Program is a wonderful program started by past Sovereign Grand Master, who's in charge of the whole United States Oddfellows. His name was Wilson Berkey, who in 1989 noticed a lot of areas with trees being cut down in the jurisdictions he was visiting, and he was worried about global tree loss. So he commissioned a worthy project called the Living Legacy Program of the Independent Order of Oddfellows. His untimely passing in March of 1990 caused the program to become his own living memorial for his undying work for Oddfellowship. The branches of the Oddfellows now have planted over 8 million trees since the program's inception. This is our gift to future generations. So please join the Oddfellows and Rebeccas worldwide in planting trees which will better the community in which we live and help to beautify the world. And their slogan is "Plant a tree for those who come after me." On the bottom there, which is something coming up here in May, is the pilgrimage to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And we get to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which is pretty cool and an honor as a veteran to be able to do that. And June 17th, 1934 was the first date for the Oddfellow pilgrimage. The purpose of this pilgrimage was not only to honor unknown soldiers in the nation's war dead, but also members of the Oddfellows who have made the supreme sacrifice in World War I. Lodges from Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. participated in the first pilgrimage. 1 year later, New Jersey and Delaware joined. Almost 1,000 members of the order were present. Credit for the pilgrimage idea goes to Charles Lampe, who was the Grand Master of the District of Columbia. The honor was allowed upon us in 1934 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. We're one of the only fraternal organizations, if not the only fraternal organization, that gets to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. On July 7, 1940, the Grand Sire, on behalf of the Oddfellows, presented the unknown soldier the Grand Decoration of Chivalry, the highest decoration bestowed upon an Oddfellow. The jewel received by the Department of the Army is prominently displayed in the Hall of Trophies. On May 3, 1959, the Sovereign Grand Master presented 2 more grand decorations of chivalry, one to the unknown soldier of World War II and the other for the unknown soldier of the Korean conflict. Both of these jewels were also placed in the Hall of Trophies. Growth of this tradition was tremendous. Finally, a resolution was adopted in 1954 by the Sovereign Grand Lodge that each year the Sovereign Grand Master could appoint a general chairman. Previously, it had been a custom for the department commander of the Patriarch's Militant, another subdivision of the Oddfellows, to serve as chairman for this pilgrimage. The ceremony of resemblance is those who gave their lives to preserve the American way of life, enshrines the principles of odd fellowship, of friendship, love, and truth, and it is indeed an honor to be a part of this pilgrimage. Each lodge in our jurisdiction and local lodge gets involved in various local or national community projects. Oddfellows also involve local youth groups as often as possible, including Cub Scouts, the Demolay, which is the boys organization of the Masons, and my local lodge sponsors a local cemetery and works with Wreaths Across America to honor all who have served. We have over 750 veterans buried at a local graveyard, and we raise money to buy wreaths for Wreaths Across America every year, and we lay them on the 3rd Sunday in December, maybe the 3rd Saturday, and we show reverence when we lay them. We don't just throw them and run. There you can see a member placing a wreath on a grave and rendering a salute and thanking them for their service. We also say each of the person's names so their name is continually remembered. Thank you. Next one. This is one of my favorite things to do. My dear friend and who has passed away in 2019, Grandmaster Louis Butler, and my wife, Grand Secretary Laura Teets, started a local project that they called Warmth for the Weary. And what we do is we raise money and funds to collect comfort items, and we put them in bags and we give them to homeless people we see in the streets. In the wintertime, items provided are throw blankets, scarf, hat, gloves, socks, dental care items such as toothbrush and toothpaste, and food. And the summer bags that just contain socks, reusable water bottles, dental care items, chapstick, and food items. We were going to dinner downtown in Baltimore one day, and I saw this guy, and I asked him if he could use a couple of new pairs of socks, and he took his shoes and socks off right there in the middle of the street and put on a fresh, clean pair of socks. So it was pretty awesome to see. So thank you. Next. Oh, what do I got there? I'm a little bit out of order from you. There you go. As an organization, the Oddfellows aims to provide a framework that promotes personal and social development. Lodge degrees and activities aid to improve and elevate a person to a higher and nobler plane, to extend sympathy and aid to those in need, making their burdens lighter, relieving their darkness of despair, and to be a great moral power and influence for the good of the humanity. The command of the IOOF is to visit the sick, relieve the distressed, bury the dead, and educate the orphan. Specifically, Oddfellows today are dedicated to the following purpose: to improve and elevate the character of mankind by promoting friendship, love, and truth, hope, charity, and universal justice; to make a world a better place by aiding each other, the community, and those less fortunate, the youth, the elderly, the environment, and the community in every way possible; and to promote goodwill and harmony amongst peoples and nations throughout the world as a universal fraternity, holding in the belief that all men and women, regardless of race, nationality, religious, social status, gender, rank, or station are our brothers and sisters. Thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about Poolsville now, I do believe. Next, please. Oops, I guess you missed one. Or you don't have one that I have. Nope. Okay, you can hold up there for a second. Poolsville Lodge in Poolsville has many community doings and donations. Some of these include scholarship awards, character awards, citizenship awards, Poolsville Seniors, Poolsville United Methodist Church, Poolsville High School, Meals on Wheels, Salvation Army, Glaucoma Research, Arthritis Foundation, Alzheimer's Research, Autism Speaks, St. Jude's Hospital, Upper Montgomery Fire Department, Christian Aid Mission, the USO, UNICEF, and the Lions Club Vision Fund. They have their hands on a lot of stuff and do a lot of good out there in Poolsville. And at this time, if Steve or Norwood would like to have a minute, I will open the floor to you. Steve, Norwood? Am I still on here?
Yeah, you're still connected.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I
there's
think he
Norwood.
wants Rich.
Is Steve on? Well, if not,
How you doing,
then,
Brother Norwood?
let me say, yes, we do have large number 97. We have our hands in a lot of stuff that's going on in the community. And I would like to say I'm very proud to be an OddFellow, and I'm glad that I am a member of the large number 97. And a couple of things that Jeff may not have mentioned is the fact that two of the things that I'm very proud of is the fact that we put on two main events for the community of Poolsville and the surrounding areas. And that is an annual summer picnic that's well attended. About 5 or 6 years ago, we were getting anywhere from 30, 35, maybe 40 people to attend that event. But recently, before the pandemic, over 100 people were showing up attending the summer picnic to eat good food, fellowship with each other. The other major event that we sponsor for the community is the Christmas dinner. And again, about 5 years ago, the attendance somewhere around 35 to 40 people. Right before the pandemic, we were getting in excess of 110 people attending that event. So we think we were doing something good. We are doing something good for the community. And we are hoping that will continue. And the other thing that we are very, very, very proud of is the fact that we give out scholarship to the area high school seniors. And I think for the year of 2022, we're giving out 3 scholarships to high school students that have graduated. We also give awards out to the middle school students for their community services, and as well as elementary school. So those are some of the main things that we are involved in the community in and around the Poolsville area.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Brother Norwood.
This is Steve, the Noble Grand for Lodge number 97. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Jeff, for your fine presentation tonight. And I want to reach out to all the people who are listening tonight that we need new people. And if you are at all interested in looking into the OddFellows, we'd love to talk with you, or we could text, we could email or whatever. So I'm reaching out to you tonight. You can call me on 301-651 0052 or email at rfrin16ms@verizon.net. And we'd love to answer any questions you have, invite you over for a meeting and discuss how you can be an integral part of our organization, because we're always out there trying to help our fellow man here around Poolesville, and we need good new people also to help us along the way. So I want to thank everybody for attending tonight, and I look forward to hearing hopefully from some of you, if not tonight, later on in the week. And thank you so very much.
Thank you, Steve. I will now open it up for anyone who has a question, if you would like.
Feel free to either unmute or leave your questions in the chat and I'll read them off. I'd also like to point out I went ahead and put Steve's number in the chat if you're interested. I'll be putting his email there momentarily as well.
It's also up on the screen right now. I just moved to that slide so everybody could see that. One of the questions I have always had is where the name OddFellows came from.
So I can answer that. Back in England, where OddFellows originally started, not here in the United States, but nationwide, much like here in America, there was no Social Security, there was no so if you got hurt and couldn't tend to your field, you were just done. So a group of local people all got together and they put little money in a kitty every week. So what they would do is everyone put in their dollar or whatever it was then, probably a nickel back then. And if Dottie was a farmer or worked in a store and she got hurt and couldn't work, they would use that money to help pay her bills and to help take care of her. And then when Dottie got better, she would start putting her money back in. And the aristocrats thought it was odd that people gave away money that they didn't have to from taxes. And so they called them that group of Oddfellows, and we took that name as a moniker of pride. That you want to call me odd, but it's not odd to help other people. It's actually good. So
yeah, very
good fellows was probably taken. So
I'd never heard the story of that, and I've always wondered about it. I have one other question. Do they still operate buildings for orphans anywhere in the country?
As far as my belief, I believe we do, but we don't here in Maryland, unfortunately. And unfortunately, with the Oddfellows and like any other fraternal organization like this, it's waning down. But we can bring it back, and it has grown a little bit since I've joined. Like I said in the beginning, this was the Facebook of the day. You wanted to find out what was going on. Every little town had a lodge meeting. You got to think back. Before cars, when Oddfellows started, a 5-mile horse ride was a long way to go. So every little town had its own Oddfellows lodge, and that's how you found out what was going on in the world. So, but to answer your original question, I believe we do have some orphanages, but if we don't, I'm sure our jurisdictions do other things to help children who are orphaned.
I have a question. The buildings that are now part of the Banner School, are there notations on those buildings that reflect back to the history of what those buildings were and representative of your organization?
When you go in the center building, which used to be where the caretaker took, there is a little memorial there of what we did and how it worked. Yes, ma'am. I don't know if you can go see it. I mean, you might be able to call the school if you're in the Frederick area ever and say, hey, I want to come by and look at this Oddfellows place, and they may or may not let you in. I don't know what the school protocol is. They're privately funded. It's not a government school, so they have their own rules that they can make up.
And how were the Rebeccas named? How did that name get chosen?
So Schuyler Colfax, the former vice president of the United States, the lore goes, I didn't ask Schuyler this, I'm not that old, but the lore goes that his wife would be like, "You're going to these lodge meetings all the time. I want to go." Well, of course, she couldn't become an odd fellow because of the way things were back then. So he actually instituted the Rebecca degree, and it has a religious base to it, Rebecca at the Well, and so they started the Rebeccas, and they had their own degree work, their own teachings, and they're some of their symbols are like a beehive, all working together to get things done like a beehive does. The peace lily and the dove, which is a sign of love, because women tend to be less barbaric than men, I guess.
Thank you.
We're not barbaric now, but I mean, typically in history, men were women were more kinder and gentler and more nurturing. So.
Hey, Jeff, this is Steve. I wanted to ask you, we're going to be putting this presentation up on YouTube in a couple of days for people who may have not seen this tonight or want to see it again.
Okay.
Is that going to be something that they can look forward to seeing in the future?
Yes, Poolsville
Sure,
Seniors records our presentation, so I will upload it and share a link with you that you can share with
Okay.
anyone who wasn't able to make it tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can you all see me in the picture?
No.
No.
No. Okay. My internet is off. My internet was off. I'm actually a magician by trade, and Steve, I brought two fantastic magic tricks to do today.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're visual and not audio, and you can't see me. So.
Oh, darn it.
So
Well, Jeff, if Melissa stops sharing her screen, then we would be able to see you.
Oh, well, if they put that up, maybe they could see me, and I
Yeah.
could do a quick.
There
If
you
someone
go.
has a deck of, if someone at home or listening or watching has a deck of cards, go get a deck of cards real quick, and I'll show you the most amazing card trick in the entire world using your cards.
I'm on my way to get them.
Okay.
Okay. So you can put me up live here if you want. Let's see.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I went ahead and pinned your video, so hopefully now more people can see you.
Hello, can you see me?
I just see your phone.
Yeah, I just see a phone. I don't. Then my stop video is not.
Dottie, you need to put up the one that says Jeff because he's on here twice.
Oh, there I am.
There he
That was-
is.
all right.
It
There
was
he
a
is.
spotlight,
Now I
not
can
a
see you.
pin. My bad. There we go.
There I am. Okay, now whoever has the deck of cards, I need you to. So this is totally random, and I need to stand up a little bit. So excuse me. You may see me. I'm gonna try to put you on speaker on the phone.
Tookie, do you have your deck of
I
cards?
do have my deck of
Oh,
cards.
wow.
Okay, who has the deck of cards?
Cookie, I do.
Oh, there
Okay.
you are.
Can everyone
Uh,
see Tookie?
Oh, excuse me 1 second.
It happens all the time, they just disappear on me.
That's okay.
Somebody must have
I
tripped
have
on
my
the
deck of-
cord.
I have my deck of cards here too.
Okay.
This deck of cards will never leave my sight, okay? Now, Miss Tookie, we did not set this up, correct?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Just go through there, pick up one card and hold it up to the camera. Just any card.
So you can see it?
Oh, I'm not a mind reader, I'm a magician, sure.
Okay.
7 of spades. That is amazing that you picked the 7 of spades. Because if I go through here and look, okay, I'll try to do this where I can stay in camera. Let's see. I'll go this way.
Pull
we go through here and look-
them up higher.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You
Oh,
got
there he is.
one card upside down. Can you see that?
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And it happened to be.
Oh, my
Wait.
goodness.
Wait,
No
Look at that.
way. I want to learn that trick.
Well, if you join the OddFellows, you can.
Oh, man, is that the price of membership?
$25
No.
a year.
I'll show you another one here that's kind of cool. If you don't mind, you got time for one more?
yeah,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You saw it here
Okay.
first, folks. Live magic at Poolsville
There you go.
Thursday night event.
There you go.
So this is the amazing 2-coin trick. It involves 2 coins, okay?
Yes.
Now, the cool thing about being OddFellows is we give away a lot of money. I don't have anything in this hand. I just have 2 coins. So if I take the 2 coins, 1 copper, 1 silver, and I remove the copper coin and I put it in my pocket, what would be over here?
Silver.
Silver.
No, 2 coins. It's a 2-coin trick. It involves 2 coins, you see? So that's a good thing. You give away money and you still have money.
Do that
So
again,
you have 2
Jeff.
coins. You have 2 coins. If you remove 1 coin, the silver coin, and you put it in your pocket, what would be here?
Just the
Copper.
copper one.
The copper coin.
No, it's
How'd
the
you do
2-coin trick. It involves 2 coins. It's amazing
Wow.
that even though you give away money, you still have, because what you give away, you get back. So if I take the 2 coins and I remove 1 coin the silver, leaving 1 coin the copper, and I put the silver coin in my pocket, what would be over here?
Oh,
2 coins. So
Wow.
2 coins. So if you take the 2 coins and you
This
place
is
them in
like
your
Pete
hand
and
and you
repeat.
remove 1 coin, how many coins are left in the 2-coin
1.
trick?
2.
No, none. That was the end of the trick.
Oh my
Sorry.
God.
Oh, oh my gosh.
See?
Thank you.
We can-
Amazing.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Isn't that how about one more, Jeff? You got one more for us real quick?
It's hard to be that tight end, and with some, I picked a couple things that I could be that visual with and be
Yeah.
that tight end. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a cute one though. Take your hand
Okay.
like this, make an OK sign.
Okay.
Everybody make an OK sign. I
Okay.
can't see Tukey moving. Tukey, make an OK sign.
I think I did.
Oh, I don't see you move. Okay, place it on your chin. Okay, that's your cheek, most of you. I don't know, I can't see you, but I said place on your chin. You put it on your cheek. So, a little something silly.
Rich.
No, most people, when I say place it on their chin, that I go like this, they see me place it on my cheek and they
Oh.
place it on their cheek. It's more of, Steve, you put me on the spot.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Delay.
That's okay.
Well, let's give a big hand to Jeff for
Woo!
those tricks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, one real quick thing before we leave, at the end of every one of our meetings, we recite something that we call the valediction. And the valediction just reminds us of what we do and why we do it. And if Steve and Rich Norwood want to join in, I will start. It says, I am an Oddfellow. I believe in the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man.
Man.
I believe in friendship, love, and truth as the basic guides to the ultimate destiny of all mankind. I believe my home, my church or temple, my lodge, and my community deserve my best work, my modest pride, my earnest faith, and my deepest loyalty as I perform my duty to visit the sick, relieve the distressed, bury the
Bury the
dead,
dead.
and educate the orphan. And as I work with others to build a better world, because in spirit and in truth,
I
I am and must always be
be
grateful to my Creator, faithful to my country, and fraternal to my fellow man. I am an Oddfellow.
Oddfellow.
I appreciate everyone's time. I'm available for kids' parties, bar mitzvahs. No self-promoting here of the Magic Act, but that
There
is
you
my
go.
real job. So, but I appreciate your time.
That is your real
Go ahead.
job?
Yeah.
That is my real job. I've been a professional magician for over 20 years. That's how I make a living.
You'll have to join
Where
us
can we
again
see you?
just for magic tricks one time.
Yeah, in person.
And I would love to come out and entertain you. I do a phenomenal magic show. So ain't nothing the check and a contract can't remedy.
That's right. There you go.
We will be talking to you, Jeff.
See?
If I can say this with modesty, I am very entertaining, and if you do have me out there, I encourage you to bring the kids. And it's a mad 40-minute magic show that's just crazy fun, and if anyone gets embarrassed, it's just me. It's a lot of fun, and I don't make any alopecia jokes, so I don't have to worry about getting slapped.
He is good, guys.
Yes, he's very
He
good.
is good.
Rich, where
He is good.
him? We need him for one of our events.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes,
We
Yeah.
will keep that in mind.
we will contact
Well,
you.
well, Richard and Steve both have my phone number is actually very easy to remember. It's 410 Mr. Magic, MRMAGIC. That is my phone number.
Wow.
And it's very easy to get a hold of me. So that's why I started doing magic. I had that as a phone number. I thought, I should do magic since that's my phone number.
There you go.
That's
Good thing it
incredible.
wasn't 410 Ditch Digger. That would not have been a fun
Nah.
job. So,
No.
okay, guys, I'm going to go hop out of here, go pick up my wife from her second job, and I appreciate everyone's time, and look forward to seeing everybody in the future.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
Jeff.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
joining
sharing.
us tonight.
Great.
I hope you all enjoyed tonight's presentation as much as I did and learned something new. And of course, as always, if you have any questions later, you can email us at info@poolsvilleseniors.org and we can pass them on for you. Thank you to Jeff for his presentation tonight, as well as our ongoing sponsors that help us keep our programs going because we love putting them on for you. And if you enjoyed tonight's program, we'll be back this time next week with the history of the Shady Grove Music Fair. As always, you can find all the info and registration on our website, poolsvilleseniors.org. Thank you all so much for your patience with joining tonight, and I hope you all had a good evening. Thank
Thank
you.
Good
you.
night,
Very
everybody.
good.
Good
Good night.
night.
Lottie.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
Night.
you.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Good night.
Good night.